All right, we're going to London.
No, we're not. How dare you?
Oh, Dublin.
How dare you?
We're going. Just cut that.
I have given you actual diagrams.
No,
that's
that's like me saying. That's like when you said PFF. That's not what I meant. We're going to Dublin. We're going to the motherland. Your time to shine, Sam. Tell everybody. Set it up. It's the Vikings and the Steelers. Minnesota by 2.5 in Dublin, Ireland.
In Dublin, Ireland. The first regular season game in Ireland.
The Republic.
Yeah, indeed. They played a preseason game there way back when, but this is the first regular season game.
When was that?
The 80s, I think. The Steelers again, because the Rooneys have Irish roots and stuff. So they played way back in the 80s. I think it was the 80s.
Barry Sanders in Oklahoma State played in Japan.
Yeah, Tokyo.
In the 80s.
Right.
There was some games.
It's that kind of era.
There was more games in Japan in the 80s than there have been since.
It's that type of era. It was somewhere around there. They played a game in Dublin, in Croke Park, I think, again. Anyway, the first regular season game in Dublin. Anyway, if anyone's going to that game, let us know. Email us in. Check the mic at the 33rd team. Let us know if you're going to that game. If you go to that game, let us know what it was like. I decided I'm getting serious FOMO for this week. We should be there. Yeah. Instead, we're sitting here in a studio in Cincinnati. It's a nice studio. It's powered by FanDuel. It's all good. It's not Dublin, though. It's not. There's a game going on. We could be walking around the place. I could be showing you the sights, Could be great.
We did miss out on a content opportunity here.
Now, if you are going to that game, or if you just want to know more about the content, you should follow a guy called Michael McQuaid, who is the sort of head front man of Pro Football Ireland. And those guys do an amazing job of promoting the game, of covering the game in Ireland. I reached out to him to just ask what the sort of atmosphere and everything was like for the week, and he sent us a little video to tell us. So we can listen to that anytime now.
Sam, Steve, firstly, Sam, I feel awful. I feel like you should be here. I'm not even in Dublin. I'm in between Belfast and Newry. You can see by the wind on my hair what's going on here. But the excitement in Dublin this weekend for the NFL game is off the charts. I've been down in the city since Tuesday night. You'll know this, Sam, but the south side, a little bit of the north side as well, covered in NFL regalia. Seeing pictures of Croke Park, what it looks like. And I know, Sam, whenever you think of Croker and you think of the hill and different elements, to see what it's going to be like on Sunday, 76,000 people, I'm sure you'll have a lump in your throat when you hear Ron the Vein being played on Sunday. But for people maybe watching or listening from the States, I know there's a lot of Chiefs, Ravens, Cowboys, Packers, there's a lot of games at the weekend. Look at this as a bonus. Aaron Rodgers at his over 40 years of age getting to play another international game, that's huge. Carson Wentz coming in, the excitement. It's almost typical that a ginger man gets to play in Ireland, so it's fantastic as my cameraman laughs. Cameraman is Alan O'Masney, by the way, American Football Ireland president. I know Sam Monson had a big history in AFI, and there may or may not be a couple of helmets there as well on the set. But no, guys, look, just firstly, can I just thank you both, and especially yourself, Sam, for everything over the last few years. I hope you realise how much you've done for the game here in terms of promoting it and getting it to this stage. I wish you were here. I just wish you the very, 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 very best for the season. Finally, in terms of the game, the city's electric. There's so much stuff going on. I fancy the Steelers to win it by a field goal or so, only because in '97 they had to win it for the Rooney family, and I think it's the exact same this time. Give me Steelers 21, Vikings 18.
So he's hit on the real crux of the matter there. On the one hand, you've got Pittsburgh trying to win it for the Rooneys, right? Yeah. On the other hand, you've got Carson Wentz is a ginger playing in Ireland, and
I know
the meme is going around. Kevin O'Connell is 17-3 when he's got a ginger quarterback. That's pretty powerful juju there.
You can't mess with that. This was I didn't realize I should have given you more credit for this whole thing. This is your doing as the number one Irish analyst in the world.
Yeah.
Irish NFL analyst.
Yeah,
number
I don't think
one.
that's true.
Formerly number two, but you are the best Irish analyst in the world.
Uh-huh.
The most famous Irish analyst in the world for the National Football League. And
I don't think that's true anymore. I think McQuaid over there is. I mean, he's on McAfee these days. He's big time.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Now
you're still number two.
Yeah.
But
somebody was asking me.
This is your game. You put this together.
Sure.
You brought this. It's notoriety.
Not true, but okay. Somebody was asking in the chat why I don't have an accent like that for two reasons. Number one, I'm not from the north, so I wouldn't speak like that even if I was
near Cork.
Still back in Ireland. No.
What was he? Oh, no, Belfast is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
He said he's up near Belfast.
It's the opposite end of the country.
Yeah, I get you. Belfast.
Okay. And number two, because
Finley's from.
I'm one of these people whose accent changes depending on where I live. I've had half a dozen accents in my life, including 2 separate Dublin accents, despite living in basically the same place both times. So I had some kind of Irish accent, then moved over here, and it's gone now.
Now it's just a Midwest accent?
Now I don't know what it is now.
Some
but it's
people
not.
think when you halfway in between Midwest and Irish is Canadian.
Yeah,
People
it
think
sounds. I mean, that's so Canadian is the accent that people default to when they don't really know where you're from, right?
just
It's like
assume
that
it's
guy's got a
Canada.
weird accent. Where's it from? It's probably Canadian. It isn't, as it happens, but it's like the way like people from Newfoundland sound Irish in a weird way. They for no connection, I don't think. It's a weird development
There's a slight crossover between Bostonian and Australian. There's a few way, like with the way we do some Oz and different things like that.
But
So
if you go, there's a video you can find on YouTube where someone has gone to like Newfoundland and those people sound like they're from West Cork. And I don't think it's because that's like an enclave of West Corkians that went to Newfoundland. They just settled there. I think it's some weird like simultaneous parallel development where for some reason 3,000 miles separates these people and they sound the same.
So you used to have pretty strong Irish accent until you got over here. So anyway, the motherland. What's going to happen here? What are we going to get? Is it going to? I'm not going to look at the weather forecast. I'll assume it's going to be
probably raining.
pretty
Yeah.
dreary, rainy. So we're going to have a slick ball. Would you say? Slick football.
I mean, sure, if it's wet weather. Let's find out. I would assume it's.
Let me start with this. Pittsburgh offense against Minnesota's defense. Also, really quick, storyline-wise, the rumblings are coming back that Aaron Rodgers wanted to play for the Vikings.
Yeah. Well, of course.
Wanted
it says
to go.
cloudy and no rain,
No rain.
No
Nah,
rain.
that'll happen.
allegedly.
They'll get some rain coming.
I would assume so. Always. At some point. I mean, it's
I
3
know.
hours. Dublin doesn't go 3 hours without there being rain somewhere.
I understand that Belfast is not part of the same country. I understand.
Do you,
But
though?
I do. Yeah, that's where Fit Finley's from the north. I get it. I understand. Rodgers against Flores in that
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably true that Rodgers did want to play for Minnesota for all the reasons that we've outlined. It was a good situation for J.J. McCarthy and now for Carson Wentz. It was a good spot, right? So it makes sense that Rodgers wanted to be their starting quarterback rather than somebody else's. The Vikings didn't appear particularly interested in that as an idea. So I think they may have been open to him as a backup or as whatever. But anyway, it didn't work out. So that's not the situation we've got. And now, yeah, you do get Aaron Rodgers in the Steelers offense, Arthur Smith's system, going up against Brian Flores, and the Vikings defense, which I think is the most terrifying defense in the league for an opposing quarterback or offense coordinator to have to deal with.
So some Aaron Rodgers stats here. He's getting rid of the ball very quickly because he's old and he needs to.
Yeah.
Under pressure this year, he's 6 for 22 passing. 6 for 22 with, I don't know what his pressure to sack rate is, but I know it's high. When he's under pressure, the offense isn't doing much. He doesn't have the same escapability.
Yeah.
It's not good. He also, EPA per play for Aaron Rodgers. He's second in the league in the red zone. And so if you go back through 3 weeks, we've got a couple jump balls to DK Metcalf that have worked well. You've got a tap pass. You've got a wide open Jalen Warren in week 1. You have a nice pass to Calvin Austin that was schemed up that snuck him behind the defense. They've done a really good job in the red zone. But his EPA is negative 0.11 and 25th in the league outside of the red zone. So it's been and then in addition to that, the Steelers they've had a couple short fields due to the defense forcing turnovers. And so that's, like, other than that, the offense has been really bad. Can't run the ball, in between the 20s, ineffective. And so I worry about the Steelers offense against this Vikings defense. I think this could be a 5-sack game. I think Van Ginkel had a pick 6 on Rodgers last year. Was that against Rodgers, one of them, in this matchup when it was the Jets and the Vikings? I do worry about the Steelers offense against this Vikings defense. Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action.
Yeah, so on the one hand, the Steelers are actually pretty low in terms of pressure rate given up because Rodgers is getting rid of the ball so quickly, right? On the other hand, the Vikings are one of the best teams in the NFL in terms of generating pressure, and they're doing it now. They can attack you at both ends. They get a ton of pressure up front. You don't know whether they're coming with just 4 rushers, 5, 6. You don't know what the blitz is going to look like. And then even if you can diagnose that on the fly, on the back end, they're showing you 3 different looks during the course of the play, right? They're rotating these coverages from, 0 to cover 2, back to 3 to whatever. So you've got this nightmare from a quarterback perspective of trying to figure out who's blitzing, right? How many guys, what is the protection I'm calling here, and who the hell is coming? And then secondly, if I've picked it up, am I reading the right coverage to get the ball in the air fast enough?
And by the way, this stats I've been using for over a decade now. Even when Rodgers was in his prime, any kind of safety rotation brought his production back down to earth a little bit. It was back. He was never bad against that, but relative to more static,
it did have an effect. Yeah.
Right, like back when it was like, how do you stop Aaron Rodgers? He has answers to everything. Just rotating safeties would decrease his production just a touch, and now you have Flores doing all that.
I mean, we said before that what Flores' defense does, it sort of seizes the initiative from an offense. Instead of saying, like generally speaking in the NFL, the dynamic is offenses are active, defenses are reactive. They have to line up based off what the offense does. They have to match up in personnel. They're kind of at the mercy of what the offense is doing. Flores in particular, but other defensive schemes as well, have said, you know what? No, we're going to go on the attack. We're going to show you things. We're going to make you react to what we're doing, and we're going to equalize things that way. And so what that defense does is number one, it makes you hesitate, hold the ball longer, because you have to read it. You have to figure out, what am I actually looking at? I can't just fire the ball quickly. I need to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. So that one of the fastest times to throw in the NFL for Rodgers, that's probably going to be slower in this game, which is going to increase pressure because Broderick Jones has to pass block longer, et cetera, et cetera. And then the second thing it does is, if you say, no, I'm going to keep the same fast average time to throw, I'm going to get rid of the ball regardless, is it increases the mistakes you make, right? So if Rodgers says, look, I know that I need to get rid of this ball fast, come what may, and keeps throwing it quickly, the chances are there's going to be a play or two in there where he misreads something and he throws the ball right to Andrew Van Ginkel or right to a safety, Josh Metellus or whatever, right? So I think it's going to be very difficult for the Pittsburgh offense to get out of this game without either Rodgers being under quite a lot of pressure or him having made a couple of mistakes.
Yeah, I just don't trust Rodgers at this point under pressure, this point in his career.
But I do think that if you're going to have, Rodgers is as equipped as any quarterback to at least understand what he's looking at in this defense.
For sure. And to get rid of the ball.
Yeah, there are other quarterbacks where you're like, this guy's just in over his head. He can't diagnose this.
They've used DK Metcalf in more of that short pass, yak type of role. I think that's going to be a key, getting the ball to DK. Pittsburgh's also, they're averaging over 10 yards per play when targeting running backs. That's because, and there's a 65-yarder or something in there to Jaylen Warren, but the offense has been a whole lot of checkdowns to Jaylen Warren, who's pretty good after the catch. But how much does he need to be used in pass protection? Again, shout out to our 33rd team research team for that number. But also the question, can you send 5 out into the pattern against Brian Flores? Sometimes that's the answer against a blitz. But when they're showing 7 up, you can't have 2 free rushers, right? You need to have some kind of answers from a pass protection standpoint. So that's the story, man, I think, of this game.
The 2 vulnerabilities, I think, to this defense are, number one, Atlanta showed you can run on them, right? If you have a good enough ground game, and I don't think the Steelers have a ground game as good as Atlanta's, but if you have a good enough ground game, you can keep the ball on the ground, grind them down, and beat them that way. Number 2, there is still personnel deficiencies in this defense. It's just that there's so much creativity with the scheme, it generally papers over most of that. But if you can get, if you get DK Metcalf matched up one-on-one with Jeffrey Okudah and you can get the ball in the air, you win, right? If you can get a running back in the flat matched up one-on-one with a linebacker, he can make that guy miss and make a play. So those are the plays where this offense can have success or the defense can still fail, is if you can actually get a matchup with their personnel, you can beat them. The problem is, at the moment, there's so much smoke and mirrors that you can rarely get the ball there.
And then other side of the ball, again, I still expect the Steelers defense to play better than they have. They forced all those turnovers last week against New England, but got whooped in week 1 against the Jets, and some disconnect. They're rushing the passer pretty well. All those guys that are very difficult to block, they're going to get some pressure on Wentz as well. So I'm not saying it's all one-sided. I really think both defenses have a chance to have a lot of success and see how Wentz handles that. He hasn't hasn't had to face maybe the pressure that he's expected to face against Pittsburgh in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first, I think, it's going to be the first real analysis of what the Carson Wentz offense looks like. Last week, it doesn't really count because of the way the game went, where they got so many fumbles right away that suddenly the game is like it becomes an easy game for Carson Wentz to just manage and not screw it up. Now I think you're going to get a better idea of what that looks like. Darisaw being back in the lineup is huge, going up against those Pittsburgh pass rushers. The offensive line, it was supposed to be dramatically improved this season. They've had at least one starter injured for the entire year, and at times more than one. Darisaw has only just come back. Ryan Kelly, the center, has been down with a concussion. Their rookie second-rounder, Donovan Jackson, is now down. Was it a wrist injury he went down with? Something like that. I think it was a short-term IR stint for him, so he's going to be out for a bit. It's going to be halfway through the season before this offensive line is actually the starting five that it was supposed to be heading into the year.
All right, man. What are you thinking here? We've got Minnesota favored by 2.5. And just to reiterate, Aaron Rodgers, all the reports this offseason that he wanted to follow in his mentor, Brett Favre's shoes, and go from the Jets to the Vikings to finish his career. The irony, and the Vikings said, no thanks. We got J.J. McCarthy.
We're good. JJ's the guy.
There's always that, too. There's always like the superstar revenge game deal like that. I think superstars can make that work for them.
Motivated
The
Rodgers.
chip on a shoulder thing is very overrated in sports analysis. But when it's a Brady, Rodgers, and Mahomes, I do feel like the superstars are able to get just offended enough to up their game. Can Rodgers do that? You turned me down. Vikings.
Yeah.
Vikings by 2.5. Where are you going?
I don't know how much. I mean, Rodgers has been able to turn nothing into slights in the past perfectly easily. I don't know if he even thinks that necessarily. Anyway, I feel like this is a low-scoring game where both defenses are kind of dominant.
Yeah.
It's like, remember, one of those early London games was it like the Saints and the Chargers where barely anybody scored, or the Giants and the Dolphins, I think was the first one, and that was exceptionally low-scoring. Like there was a couple of those.
Cleo Lemon was playing for Miami.
There was a couple of those early games that were like exceptionally low-scoring, ugly football games. This might be one of those.
Are you saying that Aaron Rodgers is down to Cleo Lemon level?
No, but I'm saying that we might get one of those games where this is like 9-12.
We need some rain, at least some mist in this game, hopefully.
Mist.
Yeah.
That was a good mist game, the Cleo Lemon Dolphins.
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Did you make a pick?
I didn't. We'll go with the Steelers.
Okay. Harry and I are both
winning
taking,
it for Rooney.
for Rooney. We're both taking Minnesota in this one. Still time for you to fly over there to get to the game.
There isn't really, though. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?